Through a child's eyes I once danced and played. Through imagination's eyes I once conquered everything. This whole week we are talking on the Dallas Daily Show, coming at you from the Neighborhood Loans, about music that moves you. Today we're talking about a song called Through a Child's Eyes. Let's get into it. All right, so you guys have heard me say this in the past. I used to be a musical theater major. I was one of these guys that song and dance, man. Way back in the day, I had hair. It was amazing. People were like, wow, look at that guy with hair. But I love music. I make up songs all the time for my kids, like even just while I'm cooking and cleaning. Just this morning, actually, my wife said something to me and I started breaking into this song, and she was like, this is like Husbandry, the musical, because it was just because I was just making stuff up on the spot. Years ago, I actually wrote a musical one act. Not people don't know that about me, but wrote a musical one act, had it produced for a festival thing, and went really well. But the character in it, one of the lead characters, was this guy who had grown up and become cynical. He used to have all of this this imagination of what he wanted to do, what he wanted to accomplish. I actually referenced was a couple of weeks ago, there was an episode called Imagine the Possibilities. And I actually asked a question in that podcast episode where I actually used some of the lyrics from this song that I wrote. So, hey, earlier this week, you got a little Dobie Gray, Give Me the Beat, Free My Soul, right? You got a little Christmas Carol. You got a little Jason Mraz yesterday. Today, you're getting a Dallas original. I hope that's okay. Look, everybody, I have to come up with 5 episodes a week on this stuff. Every now and again, I got to come up with my own stuff. I'm just kidding with you. All right, so this one was Through a Child's Eyes, right? Because he had been talking with this little kid, this other character, who was talking about all the things this kid wanted to accomplish. And he just felt the cynicism of like, yeah, I remember when that was me. And I remember when I had all those dreams, but then I got a big dose of life, kid. That's kind of where that character was. But then as he started to reflect on it, as the song got going, the main refrain was, through a child's eyes I once danced and played. Through imagination's eyes I once conquered everything. I just want you to hear these lyrics as we do it, okay? Through imagination's eyes, I once conquered everything. With a child's heart, I once danced and played. Ah, those were the days. I remember dancing. Sorry, you got to remember your own lyrics here, Dallas, right? I remember laughing, playing. My brother was a conqueror. I was a king. The world was at our fingertips. Oh, I remember so many dreams we had. And then he goes on a little bit more, kind of inspiring himself with some of the dreams. But then the music turns and it comes to this realization point where he says, have those dreams been lost in me? Or are they simply out of reach? Because my arms have grown too long, because I'm standing way too tall, because I no longer see the world through a child's eyes. Oh, give me strength to look once more and see my future an open door. Help me, God, to see your world through a child's eyes. So let's just break down that realization moment, because this is the point I want us to get to today. When we talked a couple of weeks ago about Imagine the Possibilities, as children we had the imagination, right? But have those dreams been lost in me? Take this to yourself. Have those dreams been lost in you? Or are they simply out of reach because your arms have grown too long for the dream? Because you're way too anchored into reality, because you're now standing way too tall. Have those dreams been lost in me? Because I no longer see the world through a child's eyes. Then he kind of flips it into this little prayer element. Give me grace to live once more, to see my future as an open door. Help me to see the world through a child's eyes. Now that character goes on more and more throughout the rest of the show to kind of develop like, I used to have this passion and I used to love this and he re-anchored to a lot of that stuff that he had when he was a kid. Now, though, with the maturity of lived experience. So the question I have for you today, my friends, how many dreams have you given up on? How many, we talk on this show all the time about the 4 eyes, and I haven't done this week because it was the week of Christmas, but I like to bless you and encourage you to always win your living game plan. In the show notes below, we have the Winning Game Plan play series, but there's always 4 eyes that we do, all right? So for you to have a winning game plan at life, every day you want to grow in your insight of what you're learning, in your imagination of who you are and what's possible for you, right? Of your intention, of your will and your action, of how you will act and behave that day, and then also in your impact. That is the positive impact that you are having in the world. And what this character discovered, and when I wrote the show, I didn't even know this is what this guy was suffering from. He was suffering from the fatigue and the anxiety and the identity of like, who am I now in the world? The lack of accountability, the lack of friends to help grow him, because he had gotten so into his world that he gave up on all the insights and imagination, the intention and the impact. And when he re-anchored to those, he began to change his life. I guess that's my question for you today, my friends. How do you need to re-anchor? What are the things you need to do? What's the dream you've let go of because maybe you got a little too tall, you grew a little too wise, but not, right? Or maybe you just grew a little too jaded. What's the thing for you? So I want to leave this kind of holiday week, Christmas week, with you thinking about your 4 eyes. How can you increase? How can you see one more time the world through a child's eyes? Okay? So I'm going to believe with you that today you will increase in your insight, the revelation of what you are learning and seeing in the world around you. I'm going to pray that you increase in your imagination of who you are and what is possible for you. I'm going to pray that you increase in your intention. That is your will plus your action to get things done in your world. And number 4, that you increase in your impact, positive impact in the life and the world around you. My friends, that's what I'm believing for with you. You increase in your 4 eyes. I hope you have had an amazing week. But most importantly, see the world again through a child's eyes. What might be the possibilities for you? Go out there and have a championship day.
Thanks for listening to my dad's podcast. For more tools, go to dallasdailyshow.com. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.